D'ici et de vous présenter. As usual, when you want to ask a question, please raise your hand a little bit ahead of time so that I can see.
I want to start with an apology that I cannot speak French, but I will attempt to understand what they're asking. Thank you.
And I will begin by introducing. And if you need for this man to... Okay. Question over there, the man in the pink shirt.
Thank you.
I'm not sure how much time we have for this question, but all I can say is that the people that said it was going to be a huge success were liars because nobody knew, and I think it's quite amazing that they're still going through today. In fact, they're making one at this moment, which makes 19. I can only say that timing, I think, at the time to come out with something like that, it had a bit of oomph and looked a bit more glossy and upmarket than it really was because it was made for less than $1 million.
Question here, and then the gentleman there.
Raya Abirashid from Television.
I must say, that was kind of like Zen-like for me. This kind of cross between ballet, Tai Chi, and it was great, yeah. It was really, I just trained up for like a month, I think. I was over there for a month, and I did as much as I could.
Do you work out every day?
I should also add that we could do, and knowing what her skills were, we created some of those sequences to really show off what she could do.
I think this microphone's dead, is it? Can you hear?
Yeah.
Ah, okay. It's me that's deaf, sorry. No, it was a terrific pleasure. She's a tremendous girl, and I have to say that never once late in all the days that we were shooting, many days and rehearsals and everything. She has nowhere near produced all the ability that she has. She has a great sense of comedy, and she's not bad looking. And no, she's I can't say more than the ultimate professional.
Monsieur ensuite.
Catherine Deneuve arriving in Cannes, and I think that is completely untrue. I think for me, I hope that I have the ability to have a career, a longevity as Mr. Connery. And hey, I want to be Anne Bancroft in The Graduate. You know, I would love to do that. It's just that, you know, it's a kind of media thing more than anything, that the scripts aren't out there. I mean, really, I mean, I would love to see the relationship work much more on the screen too. But on saying that, though, I mean, if a relationship works on screen, it does. I think age is indifferent. Hey, and he's Sean Connery, what can I say?
Well, I had a lot of cosmetic surgery.
Monsieur?
It's a question for Mr.
I'm not conscious of the change. It's, I think, my choosing of anything is what I think I would like to see. It rings a bell with me, and in fact, I hadn't thought of it. I did a couple of, well, I've done, the chances of using Lumet as an example, Sydney I've done, I think, 6 films with, so can understand that, and very tight films with him too, you know, Orient Express, The Hill, and Family Business, but I'm not conscious of career move changes. Otherwise, I wouldn't have made some of the dogs I made. Oh, as a co-producer? Well, I've been executive producing before it was official on lots of movies, and I've worked at the beginning, from the beginning, because it's the writing that always captures me, and I like very much to be involved in the production, and so after all the years of putting my nose in and about of it, I officially took the title as executive and then producer.
Question.
Saying that I'll try and answer the first question. The first question you asked was about the Scottish studios. Well, there's 5, 6 stages at that, and I think we're at third stage at the moment, which is really to get permissions from the government, and everything else is in place. Sony's done their due diligence, and I'll be, very much a part of it to support it, so that it would be a triangle between Scottish studio, state-of-the-art Europe or the world, and Pinewood in England and Shepperton would form a triangle. And I would hope that it would be a tremendous success. On the next question to do with the council and everything, it's a bit more fragmented in Scotland, and that's what it needs, a sort of base and brought together. And the council sounds quite a good idea. The problem is that there is no British film industry as such, because it has no infrastructure, it has no foundations, it's not laid in anything, and it's mainly American money that makes the movies, and they talk about the successes that are going on there. So until they get it inbuilt to the, so it's on the par with steel or the motor car industry or whatever, it'll always be waiting for American money. Don't know if that answers your question, but that's what's wrong with it.
Question there.
I mean, I got questions. Well, that's in the cards. Hopefully it'll be sufficiently successful that would merit it.
Okay, there's a follow-up.
Imitations, they come in cycles, and I think that they keep reinventing. I mean, look at this movie now, The Matrix, which I read, and I must say I couldn't understand half of it, which doesn't, but it comes out, and I saw the making of it on a film, and I suddenly realized how little I knew, because I don't have that inclination. But I think that the Entrapment movie has kind of reflections of kind of Hitchcock stuff, and it's the kind of movie that I like to see. If it's any kind of success, it started remarkably well, then we'll probably see another 15. We might make another one. A couple of years ago, the Scottish National Party had really virtually no strong voice. And the Labour government in Britain made a mistake in saying part of their manifesto was that they were going to give devolution to Scotland and Wales. And what they had not bargained for was that there had been 18 years of Conservative rule. And every year, or every 4 years when they voted in Scotland, they voted Labour and never got a Labour government. But during the 18 years of the Conservatives of Thatcher in London, major, the same things that were happening in England were happening in Scotland. Labour in Scotland were the predominant party, and they were as corrupt and wrong and messy as the Conservatives. And the Nationalists were the only ones who had no real voice. And I've been 40 years involved with the Scottish Nationalists. And now we are the opposition, which means they do not have the majority, Labour. They now have 4 parties all fighting, which is much healthier, and you'll see a major change. There'll be a terrific renaissance in Scotland, I believe. And as far as it means to go separate ways, that would be, in some people's eyes, unfortunate, but I don't see how you break the island in pieces. All I've maintained is that Scotland should never be anything less than equal to England or any other nation in the world.
Catherine, you're Welsh. Are you as politically involved as Mr. Connery? You're not, okay. Mr. Connery, a long time ago...
A fund? No, I initiated the idea of a Scottish film studios.
Oh.
And I have a trust, education trust, but that was 28 years ago, the SIET. Mainly it is educational, international, Scottish International Education Trust, mainly because I never had one myself.
Ma'am?
How does Catherine Zeta-Jones' character compare to those women?
Well, it's a tough job and somebody has to do it. And she's a great kisser.
I'll pay you later.
I'm sorry.
Compare the character of Catherine Zeta-Jones to the Bond girls. Do you think she's more fleshed out, she's more feisty, or were they more appendages to Bond, or could you compare it, please?
No, I think I've said everything I think about Catherine, and to talk about the Bond girls now, there's been so many of them, and they're all as old as me, nearly.
The great thing about Jane as a character was that script is something that we wanted to put more into, as opposed to being an appendage or whatever. She really considers herself an equal.
You know, this is a big movie in visual scale, but the truth of the matter is it's a two-hander, really. You know, there's some great performances from a lot of the other actors, but the movie stood or fell on the ability of these two people to hold the screen together. And, you know, Sean is probably one of the most powerful presences on the screen today. We needed an actress that could really hold her own with him. And, you know, that was one of the most powerful and persuasive reasons for wanting Catherine to do this. We really felt that this was the one that could really give as good as she took. And I think in that respect, it's a really wonderful pairing.
I also think there's a lot of real beauty in what she did as the developing aspect of the project. And she brought a lot of that to it for us, so great.
Madam?
Le tonnage, je parle pas un mot de français, parce que je suis galloise. Mais absolument, je voudrais faire le film en France, un film avec Philippe. Ça, c'est un rêve pour moi. Peut-être en français.
Vous êtes toujours en liaison avec des réalisateurs français?
Comment?
Vous êtes toujours en liaison avec des réalisateurs français?
Do I know more?
No. Are you still in contact with French
Absolument.
directors?
Oui, absolument. Edward Molinaro, Philippe, bien sûr. Bien sûr.
We all thought that was Catherine, actually.
Mademoiselle?
Stéphane.
Stunning.
Yes.
Well, in fact, she's so radiant, you have to respond.
And the question to Catherine Zeta-Jones, what was it like working with the great actor like Sean Connery?
Fantastic, really. I mean, it's really hard to kind of put it into words. I mean, when you work so closely with someone who I've admired for so many years, the great thing was when I first met him in Rome is that he was absolutely as charming as I anticipated. There's nothing worse than completely having an idol, and then you meet them and they're just awful, you know, and all your images are shattered. He was absolutely charming from the moment I met him. He helped
in Rome. There and then, and Rhonda will agree, that for me, she was the girl.
Wow.
What can I say?
Actually been working for 59 years, but well, the first thing I do is obviously read the script and hopefully get caught up with the story. And then hopefully I get a good director. Doesn't always happen, but it's like that. He doesn't always, or she doesn't always get a good actor. But what's really interesting about film is that you read it and then you think you know what it's all about. And then when it comes to making the movie, the changes it goes through, the different, when the other people's input, the designer, the director, and you're starting to read something quite different. And the involvement eventually evolves, plus the impositions of a budget or whatever else. And we took quite a long time with Entrapment to get what we think is a kind of balance of that kind of movie with all the elements. And interesting getting into the theatre where the carpet is, and you're going to see the movie. There's a great charge there, and the French do that rather well.
Thank you. I'll pay you later.
All my family over from Wales. We're like this big clan that goes everywhere. So I'm really excited. I mean, everybody in Los Angeles has said, you wait till you get to the top of the stairs. So my main aim tonight is actually to get up there with the dress, with the shoes. But I'm really looking forward to it. I'm just like a little kid. I'm just really excited. I really am.
What do you look forward to the most coming to Cannes?
It's just really, I mean, I can pinch myself. It's fabulous. And de vin rouge, je prends et je vais. J'ai pris le vin rouge et j'ai mangé absolument parfait. Oh, je parle très bien le français après le quart de l'après-midi.
Are we going to be remembered more for our wines than our filmmaking?
It's equal, you know? It's like, God, we eat such bad food sometimes. It's such a pleasure to work in France.
Et Monsieur Connery?
There's probably an equal amount of backstabbing in either. I mean, with the films and politics, there's a great similarity, but it was unfortunate in one way, but interesting and enlightening in another. When I was up in Edinburgh, I was doing the political stuff as well as doing the Americans came to Edinburgh at my invitation to do their review of the film. And it was pretty exhausting because I was being battered daily by the press on the political side because they have so much more money than we have. But it was rewarding in terms of how these Americans, who 98% had never seen Scotland before. So it was very refreshing because 100% of them were returning. And I wouldn't like to be doing it all the time, which is in the political arena and making movies, because they're equally arduous.
Monsieur, Madame ensuite.
No, we talked about this, and to find his place, we wanted somewhere it could be very isolated, but it had to be a complete contrast from what we were going to finish the movie in, which was Malaysia. And we always had a notion for something in Scotland, and the idea of a castle is something that you could kind of leave open because it's kind of formidable. And we had the very good fortune to find the castle in Mull. And I think it gives a terrific visual value to the movie.
Ze is alweer weg.
Voici celle maintenant de Eva Herzig. C'est l'éclairage, c'est Stéphane Bern. Et le festival est ici pour le prouver. Mais jusque-là, bonne soirée, bon appétit, à tout à l'heure.
Et oui, les photographes ne savent plus comment faire.
Ok, ça c'est mon pote, hein, Charles Sicci.
Why are you following me?
Got a proposition for you. I'm a thief. I give you the world's tallest building and home of the International Clearance Bank. Do I have your attention now?
Undivided.